Peace, family. Welcome. We have such a treat for you today. I am very excited. So many of you have been waiting on this day to arrive. You've been asking me to bring on a special guest, as many of you have been having a lot of questions about entering into this golden age, this era of awakening, where a lot of our paradigms are shifting, our old belief systems are being challenged. So today we're going to welcome a wonderful guest to help us really discover what's going on with our spiritual development and how we are to still live our life purpose, even though we're transitioning into a whole new golden age. But as you check in, family, we'll just bring on a little introductory music and we'll wait for you to get your water, pens, and pad, and we will bring on our special guest. Come on in the room, check in, and let us know where you're hailing from. Coming on in the room. Come on, check in. Good afternoon. Good rising. Good evening. Good night. Depending on where you're hailing from. Come on in the room, family.
Hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. Through her channel, knowledge flows, breaking chains that hold us close, teaching to abundance and wealth, guiding others to free themselves. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, currencies to investments divine. She's helping her tribe to realign with wisdom, ancient and new, showing what we all can do.
Soul Tribe, I see y'all cannot wait to hear from our special guest today. People are saying this is going to be fire, right? So come on in the room, check in. I see you all chiming in. May the whole family be uplifted now and forever. I agree with that. Oh, yes. This is a beautiful time to be alive, family. So much is going on, right? We have truly entered a time period that we've never experienced before. We've entered a time where our thoughts, our paradigms, our belief systems are truly being challenged. Come on in the room. I want to give you just a few more minutes, maybe just 60 more seconds to get some pen and paper because we have a master teacher in front of us today, a spiritual guide, an ordained pastor, ordained minister, a healer who's going to help us through some of the most challenging times that we've had. Because as you evolve, you may see things differently, but people around you may not evolve with you as we've entered this golden era. So people have had questions. What do I do? How do I continue to live out my purpose when things around me are changing and people who used to support me and celebrate me no longer celebrate me, or they're shifting in their perspective? How do we handle those things? We're going to address all of that today. Sister Janine, our moderator, said, Doc, I just got an Amber Alert on my telephone. Some people are waiting for an emergency broadcast system announcement because things have changed so much. As people awaken, some are excited about the awakening and others are afraid and concerned. Well, those are the same people who will be coming to you for an answer. And this is why this meeting today is so critical, so important. We're almost at 100. Come on, we're going to bring it up to 100 before we get started. Other people are saying they're getting alerts on their phones. Yes, this is going to be high vibrational. We've both experienced some challenges with our devices this morning as we were preparing, but we're going to keep going. 5 more people we need to check in the room. Hit the like button as you enter the room, please. Thank you all so much for being here. Today is Wednesday. Is this Wednesday? Yes. March the 25th, 2026. And currently it is 2:12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Smith says, I get a whole lot of alerts lately. Things are changing. Greetings, inner world. And we also have a new member to join the Soul Tribe membership group. Welcome. Welcome, Sister Janie. We are happy to have you. It's such an honor and a joy to have all of you here. And it's a pleasure to serve you. And I'm telling you, I'm really, really excited about my guest. The more I talk to her, the more humbled I feel to be in her presence, just to sit at her feet. You know how you used to, in the old days, sit at the elders' feet or sit at the spiritual leaders' feet and learn from them? Because sometimes you think you know it all, you know something, but when you sit with somebody that's wiser than you, you're like, oh, let me just be quiet and sit down and learn. So I'm honored, and I'm honored to have all of you here today. So we've entered into what some people are calling the golden age. I even heard Donald Trump say a month ago, welcome to the golden age, or the golden era, other people call it. That's why around 2020, they start talking about Corona. Corona means crown, as in your crown chakra is opening up, you're ascending in consciousness. Your old paradigms are shifting. You are walking into your royalty. So they start talking about Corona, which means crown. And they were actually, the elites were sending clues to each other and cues, coded messages, letting each other know we can't continue to suppress these people. We can't continue to suppress the republic, their lawful governments. We can't continue to suppress their thinking. They're breaking free from that. We can't even suppress their financial system. We got to do something. That was in 2020. Here we are 6 years later, and people are waking up as we have entered the golden era, the Corona. And what we've noticed as we've entered this different era is we're starting to evolve beyond the old ways. And the more we evolve, the more we realize that certain teachings, certain paradigms, and some institutions, such as schools, churches, and spiritual organizations, have kept us boxed in. Now, during this awakening, this age of the corona, the age of enlightening, we're breaking free from those old paradigms and we're rising or ascending in consciousness. But we're wondering, as we evolve, what do we do with the people who are left behind? How do we still fulfill our purpose? Because before we were like, what am I here for? What am I here for? What is my purpose? People kept saying it's to serve this God, it's to serve that God, it's to do as thou wilt. And then some people say it's to do as I say. But no, we have evolved beyond those paradigms. We're breaking free from institutional enslavement. So today, we brought on a very special guest, Dr. Nailah Gilliam. Dr. Nailah Bakari Gilliam L., affectionately known as Dr. G. She's a sacred teacher, an intuitive, ordained minister, a poet, and a spiritual midwife who walks boldly in her divine assignment. Her journey began in the Christian faith, in the Christian church, as a matter of fact, where she was actually ordained, and she faithfully served in ministry for over 30 years. She founded Praise to the King Ministries, Incorporated, in 2001. And over the next several years, she served as the director of the Department of Real Estate and Housing for her municipality, while at the same time, busy woman, serving as a senior pastor and an apostle, and studying part-time at Jameson School of Ministry and Theology, where she earned her bachelor's degree, her master's degree, and a doctorate in theology. Come on here, in 2009. While some people say they don't really respect education, I happen to. They respect all that she's been through and all that she's learned for we the people. In 2011, following a very powerful spiritual awakening, she was divinely led to establish the House of Reawakening Minds, which is a sacred place, and you can find it on YouTube, now called the official House of Reawakening Minds. A sacred teaching and broadcasting platform is what she calls it, that now reaches a global audience of over 50,000 YouTube and Facebook subscribers. They're on the house, the official House of Reawakening Minds. And Dr. G also has a new show that she calls Dr. G is Always Glitching. Through her work, Dr. G continues to bridge biblical wisdom, spiritual awakening, and practical healing for people across traditions, cultures, and ideological paradigms. Dr. G works very closely with world-renowned Moorish science teacher, a master teacher, the Grand Sheikh of the Moors, Grand Sheikh Taj Tariq Bey. The two of them have worked closely together since 2011, and he is her mentor. Her walk is not one of rejection, but of revelation. She's never stopped believing in the Most High. Her beliefs, her knowing, as a matter of fact, only deepened her understanding of how vast, present, and personal the divine is. She is the author of Poetry is the Musings of an Undercover Writer, and she has 2 forthcoming books entitled Always Glitching, How to Be a Glitch in the Matrix, and Love Letters from a Glitch. Dr. G teaches that a glitch, Glitch, is someone who chooses to grow, learn, inspire, teach, create, and heal. And even when the world wants them to remain silent or small, we can learn how to evolve as the amazing specimen that the Most High created us to be. Family, you've asked me many times, when was I going to bring on this amazing master teacher, spiritual healer, intuitive, and ordained minister? and we're going to have her here today. Help me welcome none other than the amazing Dr. Nailah Gilliam L., also affectionately known as Dr. G. Welcome, Dr. G.
I don't know how to respond to such a grandiose introduction, but I want to say that the admiration is mutual.
Oh,
I
thank
highly respect everything you share with the community on vast subjects. I've told you I followed you ever since I think you were in Cali working with the homeless.
you. Yes,
That's
ma'am.
how far we go back, and I'm not like I said, it's mutual.
Thank
It,
you, Dr. G.
I the feeling Grand Chic and I often will mention you during our segments that we do, our broadcast, because we've seen or heard something that you've been discussing that is so timely, and we can't help but give credit where credit is due, give flowers where flowers should be given, and so that respect is so mutual. We love you. I love you, Dr. Kia. You have such a spirit of gentleness. So many people want to be, grandiose in what they're doing. And what I see in you oftentimes, however, is that while you have the gentleness, talk about the lion and the lamb.
Yes, ma'am.
Sometimes the lion comes out and you have to roar and and you get your point across because you're so passionate
Thank you.
about what you're doing. And I just want to say, commend you,
Thank you.
and for the depth and the breadth of your reach. That's important in these days because so many things have occurred to separate us. And
Yes.
your network is broad, and we're going to need coalitions that are broader than what we think in these days that we're doing. It's not going to pick and choose who it affects. So we're going to have to work together, but especially with those who have like-minded spirits, and that's so important. I deal with people by the spirit, not by the flesh.
I got a call from you years ago. It might have been almost 10 years ago when I was in California. You and Grand Sheik Taj Tariq Bey called me on Facebook Messenger. And when I saw your name, I just started shaking. I was like, oh my God, because I had been listening to you on the official House of Reawakening Minds and on Facebook, and I just started shaking. And to hear you and the Grand Teacher, Grand Sheik say, we are proud of you. You're doing a good work. Continue on. I mean, it was just like hearing from the most spiritual, amazing gurus that ever walked the planet. And I'm very honest and sincere in that. And it gave me the power and the strength to go on, because it's hard coming out as a person, telling everybody everything is changing when you really can't tell with your
Right.
natural eye that things are working out for our good. So I thank you and Grand Sheik for that. What happened was my sons had actually alerted me to the Grand Sheik and you, and started telling me that you all were talking about a lot of things that were going on behind the scenes, how the Republic was being restored. You might not even said it in those words, but they were like, Mom, you need to listen to them. And it was through you all that I learned about motu proprio, the
Okay.
letter that the Pope wrote to Obama saying that the government must cease and desist. And I was like, oh, you know what? All the things I've been feeling in my spirit. Oh, now that I know that this is, because I honored you in the Grand Sheik, I was like, now that I know this is correct, oh, I'm just gonna go full force. I'm serious. You know how you have to like measure yourself against your greater teachers, to not against, but talk to them and ask them, am I doing the right thing? Or listen to them to figure out, am I on the right path? Sorry about that. That was my experience. And so when you all called me and I talked to you all, and I don't know, I just felt like I was empowered. So thank you so much.
Well, I appreciate you. And I want to say this just for a moment of transparency, and this is basically to the viewers.
Okay.
A lot of times, not a lot of times, each one of us, and Dr. Key and I, we talked about this a little earlier today, come in with an assignment. A lot of things transpire over the course of living in life that detour us, and do so many things. And the greatness that we're speaking of in each other is the actual greatness that is in every one of us. However, it's mostly greatness unrealized and unrecognized, untapped. And none of us is any better or greater than the other. We're doing our part, our assignment for the most part, for what we're called to do in the whole, and I hate to say scheme, but scheme of things, if you will. Because we said, send me, I'll go. And we didn't say send me, I'll go because I just want to have fun in a body. So give me a body and I'm going to go down there and I'm going to do X, Y, Z. Now, the problem is that a lot of us, most of us, some folks say it's the light that we're born in that's like the Men in Black memory wipe, that, when you're born in the bright light coming out in the lights, you forget, But what I'm saying is none of us, myself, you, we're no better than the ones of you who are watching. Absolutely. And everybody's got to find their purpose. And so there are so many things that come to, as I said, to detour you, to deter you from the course that was set. But you will reach that goal. You will reach it if you have to reach it in another life or another life, But what we're learning I believe in this hour, and when I'm talking the hour, I mean this time, is that there are many, many deceptional actions that have been going on for centuries that are finally, and I'm not going to say that it hasn't happened before, because maybe that's what happened to make them do the last reset. You see what I'm saying? Maybe the folks woke up and realized who they were themselves, and then who, this so-called, enemy was. Maybe that's why they were wiped out or wherever they were put. I don't know, but we are in a position now to know. I grew up being a believer. We talked about that. But what the ideal thing is you want to be is a knower.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You want to know it beyond a shadow of a doubt who you are. You know that you did not create yourself. I know I didn't create myself. However, I don't adhere to the tenets of the Christian faith anymore. I read that same book I told you earlier, and I see so many things clearly now, like the scales fall away, the veil is rent, and we're in the temple. Where's the temple? This is the temple. Not talking about a building. Inside me, something got ripped open and said, see? And I began to see, sitting in the middle of a Christian prayer breakfast.
Wow.
So it's just that it's in all of us. And that's the point I want to make. We're having a mutual admiration society, but I put my, pants and things on, just like, we do the same things that everybody else does. We're just doing our assignment more public. More public. That's what I think. And I think, that's one of the things that the system has worked very hard to do, and that's to separate us, to put us in classes and castes that makes, somebody feel less than, or somebody needs to pay obeisance to another. And no, we just need to get together. And I like the way my dear sister, Mother Kai, talks about together. She calls together is to get her. We talk about the divine feminine, we need to come back to get her. We are the one, we are the divine feminine. There's a lot of hers in a lot of things, inheritance and if you go, hereditament and all the various things. So sisters, and I'm, brothers may be on here too, but sisters, they say we made a star stuff, so we can be the sisters. We need to get her together. And her is us. Her is you and me and we.
We're just getting started, and I got chills all over.
No, but like you said, and I'm sitting here trying to I'm trying to focus because I can't see. We had so much, as you said, technical difficulties. My computer, the sound went, and then something else went. So then I had to grab the phone. And while you were playing the music, I looked up and it said 38%. And I was like, I had to run somewhere and get, a charger to plug it in. So I don't, end up But I'm saying, but we're here.
We're
We're
here.
here. We know that the forces, if they could do, excuse me, if they could do what they would like to do, they wouldn't let us have this conversation. But
Mhm.
we pressed. We didn't say, oh, let's reschedule, let's figure it out. I'm on
No.
the phone. If you can hear me, if you can see me, I can't see you all very well, but I do hear you loud and clear, and I'm going to do my
Good.
best to have a honest discussion, and hopefully at the end of it, those who are viewing it now or who are viewing it in the future will feel that there's a little bit more empowerment that they receive to move into their divine purpose.
Mm-mm. One of the things you said to me the other day when we were on the phone was that as you were spiritually evolving, the purpose and the mission was the same. I was like, oh my God. Can you expound upon your spiritual evolution and how you came to realize or just be fixed on the fact that my purpose is the same? I might have left this organization and evolved into, something else, but I still have the same mission. Can you expound on that?
You know, when I was a younger woman, I used to watch or listen to, because we didn't have internet per se back then, but I was a fan of Les Brown. And I used to, and I was even at one point in an organization that he was a part of. But I remember telling my mother that I wanted to be a motivational speaker.
Hmm.
I'm for some reason. I mean, I had been a singer. I'd grown up singing. Can't sing a lick now, but preaching took my voice away. But I was a
Mhm.
singer. I was a lead singer in bands and R&B groups and so forth. I was a Parliament Funkadelic addict because that's the kind of music we played. Besides the other, the guys did. But what I'm saying is, I wanted. I would. They would say, "There she goes." Somewhere I'd break down a song and I start talking to the people. And we had this little section where I had just a verbal discourse with with the audience. They said she's all, but it was something in me that had something to say that I felt would be of value to somebody who was listening. So as I matured and went through the process of trying to be a motivational speaker, signing up for all of these little classes and so forth, I never realized that per se. But when I felt the call to preach and become a preacher, it was after, I was an evangelist or whatever, that I realized I was motivating people, that a preacher's real job, if you will, or duty is to motivate, not to tear people down, but to lift and build people up. And
Right.
so I said, you know what? I'm a motivational speaker.
Mhm.
I was
Mhm.
a preacher. But I realized, when I stood up there to give a message, I wanted someone to get it to such a degree that it changed their life, that it
Yeah.
changed their mind, that it
Mm.
changed their direction. And isn't that what motivation normally does?
Yes.
So, and I'm saying that to progress on. So when on December 18th, 2010, when I was sitting in Philadelphia at a prayer breakfast at a hotel, listening to a preacher, and then the next thing I know, I was being called to the front to help with the altar call, realizing what just happened. I
Mm.
just heard the opening, and now everybody's up at the altar. How those people get to the altar, and why they calling Apostle Gilliam? They were calling me up actually to help with the, when the altar's full of folks who come for prayer or whatever you need ministerial help. But I missed everything in between, Dr. Kia.
Mm.
Between, I went from the opening, remarks to the benediction, and
Wow.
missed what was happening. And so I realized that I was at the table, but and in the body, but out of the body at the same time.
Mm.
I
Mm.
was totally somewhere else where I missed the entire
Mm.
sermon. I couldn't even figure out what led those people or drove those people to the altar. So I heard, when I came back to my seat, I saw my Bible at the time. I had a blue Bible, and I was looked at the page. It was open to Jeremiah chapter 5, and I had scribbled all across the
Mm.
pages all kinds of little notes. And I don't even know. I do know, the preacher who preached, but I never figured out what she actually preached. But I assumed it would not have been from that, because that particular text talked about how, and I'm paraphrasing, how unscrupulous men, and not just men, but say people in the position of power, had crept in, that disregarded the widows and the fatherless, that heaped into themselves riches, and had men in cages like birds growing fat off them. It said, but the people like it that way. And it says something like, what will you do in the end? And then this voice said to me, because I'm having a revision of what happened in that space between. And the voice says, you must stop lying and tell the truth.
Whoa.
And I looked up, and I remember telling the preacher later on, I said, things are about to change. And so she said, I know, because I'm about to do this sermon series on such and such a teacher. I said, no, not like that. I said, something major in me, something's going to change. And so I went back to my church, which was on Sunday, because this was a Saturday prayer breakfast. And I stood up, and it wasn't until about 4 years ago that I even knew what I preached. I was able to find the disc. Somebody was helping me down at House of Reawakening Minds, clean up some stuff. And we found one of these little small, looks like the center part of a DVD, but not the whole DVD, but it went into the recorder. And all those years that was sitting in something that was in our sound room. Everybody was going, I'm fast forwarding, but this had been sitting there. And so the guy that was helping me the gentleman said, you can play that and see what's on it. I said, it's only a little thing. He said, it'll play. We pushed the button on the computer. It was the sermon I preached the day after. The day after the 18th was the 19th of December. And I did not have a written sermon. And when the church was packed, and I was saying some stuff, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of fairy tales and fables, and I'm going to tell the truth. And if Jesus comes back in a spaceship, what you going to do? Wait for something? I was having, so it was such a weird, but I actually have it. I'm sitting here going, I actually found it again just recently. I had a computer that went out, and when I was trying to restore what was on it, I saw this thing. It said, Dr. G's, it said Apostle Gilliam's Swan Song. Because I really kind of, I dove out of the ministry, sort of, because it was like that week, people were excited. And it was like, oh, Hosanna, the biblical, the palm leaves. The next week, it struck him. He said, something wrong with her. Oh, the devil is in her now, so she did run well. It was one of those kinds of things. What did hinder her? And so it was crucified me the next week. And so over the course of about 3 weeks or 4 weeks, the ministry that was almost 10 years old at that point, everyone was gone. Maybe 4 or 5 people tried to stick around, but even them, we talked about it. When change comes, associations, you don't want to lose your association. And, we had we have a video out on YouTube that has over, I think, 200,000 or 300,000 views from maybe 15 years or so ago, more. And it's called Praise Break. And the young people at my church was shouting like a nonstop. It's got over, it's going towards 500,000 views. It's old, but people just like, they love to shout. We had a shouting Pentecostal, church, and, folks did what they, liked and enjoyed doing when they go to church. And we were no different. The only difference I believe, was me, because I started the ministry disenchanted from previous ministries where I'd seen practices and things that were absolutely, so-called godly, so-called Christian. If in fact you believe this book, and then why are you doing this, and this? I saw, the dirty side, the grimy side of ministry, and I vowed I wasn't going to do that. We weren't going to do that. We weren't going to do. The first thing I did after I had this awakening is to start to talk about tithing and tell them that, tithe was not a requirement of God. If God owned everything and the cattle on 1,000 hills, who's sending the money? how Jesus getting your tithes. I mean, I started telling them about the tithe. I'm still pastoring.
I was just like, you're the pastor. You could benefit from the tithes, but you're telling them something.
But you see, I wasn't a career pastor because as you read, I worked for the municipality for over by the time I retired, it's about 25 years or so. But I worked the whole time. There's some people do this as a profession, not of their faith, but it's a job. It's how they eat, live, sleep. I had a pastor that every time his money got funny, we'd hear, bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse that there be meat in my house. And you knew something was going on in his finances because now he's trying to, and I would tell people, before you give this tithe to the church, think about it, because if you haven't paid your electric or your rent or whatever, don't think you're going to be able to come back easily and get it back from the trustees. You better keep it and do what you need to do with it. And then if you have any excess, the truth is the tithe in the church was not finances anyway.
No,
wait
a minute.
Right.
You challenging what I was taught, elect lady. You challenging what?
Yeah.
It wasn't finances?
No.
What was it?
It was. Now some churches do this thing called first fruits. They do that and tithes, but they mess it up. That how you folks just desecrate stuff to fit their agendas, because so first fruits was harvest. So you grow it in most it was an agrarian situation. Most people were farming and cattle raising, livestock. So you made sure that the priests, the ones who were praying for you and ministering, and I got a word about what they were ministering, what the Aaronic priesthood was doing, but all this came after this 2010 awakening. Excuse me. But it was food, it was livestock. So you might give your first, the cow has the first calf of the season. So you may give the calf to the priesthood so that they would have food. It said there be meat in mine house. Doesn't it say that?
It says that there, Malachi 8:11, I think, that there may be
bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, that there be meat, not money, in my house. Bring me the potatoes and the corn and the wheat, so that while you all are doing these things, growing, then the priesthood doesn't have to go do those things, and they can just minister to your soul, to your spiritual needs. They can come to God on your behalf. They can go into the Holy of Holies and risk their lives. Because many of them died.
Right, because they would go into the Holy of Holies to sacrifice, I guess, or go before God on behalf of the people. And if that priest was not righteous, he would die before the altar of God, right?
Who said that?
And then the people on the outside, the other minister, I think he would go in with a rope tied around his ankle or something like that. And if he was found not being righteous, he would die right before the altar of God, and they would drag him out.
Really?
Bringing back all type of memories from the scripture.
But let's go back to that story.
Okay.
So the revelation came to yours truly after, because when the veil is still there, you can't see. Right. So when the veil was ripped away, I was able to hear, because I'm an intuitive, and see what those words, what they really meant. Okay. So we have been given a perception that the Holy of Holies, which was, there's 3 tents, a holy place, I think the most holy, or the Holy of Holies. So there was 3 levels. And so God had them to construct the most holy place away at the very end, because often they said that people, because of their sins, they would die. Remember that? Yes. Sometimes it would be hundreds of them, whatever. But the truth of the matter is that that's where the Ark of the Covenant would be kept and ministered to. And those priests, what Spirit showed me, because we were getting ready to have and I know this thing isn't about church, but y'all need to hear this stuff.
Spiritual awakening.
Spirit told me, because this is the non-ho-ho woo-woo part of it, that when we were getting ready to have a ordination service, and the ministers were being required to spend hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars to get all of their ministerial, all of the clothes. I don't even know what to call them anymore, but everything that the ministerial garb that they were supposed to wear. Said, do you know what those people, what those men were doing? And I said, no, what were they doing? So I'm sitting in the dentist chair, and I got this lead vest on me. You know, when you go and they were going to do the
X-ray,
right? And so they would protect your chest with a lead vest. So Spirit said to me, so do you remember they would wear the breastplate of righteousness with the different stones on it and so forth? Well, said that thing that you have on your chest right now was the same, that served the same purpose as though that what they wore. That the stones on that vest, because they were working in an environment that was nuclear. Now we talking about what was in the box, the holy, the ark. Because they were working in an environment around that kind of nuclear, the way the stones would give off various indications was how much radiation, because they actually worked in courses. The Bible says they worked in courses. They couldn't be there a lot. Just like when X-ray techs wear they wear a little thing on them, and it's an indicator of how much radiation they've been. They were wearing protective, what do you call the clothes when you work in a nuclear plant? Protective, somebody out there knows what I'm talking about.
Okay.
They were wearing protective clothing for the work they were doing. We had ministers spending thousands of dollars buying robes when these men were wearing protective clothing because they were working in the Holy of Holies around a machine, some tech that was radiation and could kill them. And when they died back there, it was because they had a nuclear accident. It wasn't because of the sin.
What? Okay.
And sometimes the radiation would spread and the people would get boils and their skin, like Chernobyl, like any other nuclear, when somebody is in a place where radiation is released. So what they were dealing with back there, that wasn't spiritual.
It was real life.
I don't know whether the nuclear, I didn't get a clarity on what the nuclear tech was for, but it was something that the God, remember, because God was talking about, you can't have none before me. And he wouldn't say that unless there was others, right? So the God of Israel was telling them, I got, just like they said, the extraterrestrials came down and talked to Truman, and Truman, we can either give you some stuff to make people live longer, do this, or we can give you some war technology.
Yes.
They wanted the tech. Those people wanted the tech. And so the Aaronic priesthood were the ministry called the Aaronic priesthood actually was administering to whatever that Holy of Holies held, which was the Ark of the Covenant, which was some type of nuclear device. We know that when it was stolen, they stole it. I think it was some of the giants or somebody stole it, and they wanted to get it back real quick because it was killing folks. They didn't know how to operate it. They didn't know how to operate it. But like I said, we preached. I preached. God was killing people.
I preached it too. That's what was in the book.
Yeah. Well, it was in the book, but interpretation.
You're right.
Is one thing. You could the context. It say if your context is wrong, your conclusion is wrong.
Right? And you have a doctorate in theology, so I mean, the Spirit was moving on you, but you also know how to exegete scriptures and eisegete. You know how to look at the context in which it was, the words were said. You know how to break down the word, study the etymology of the word. So what you're saying is really resonating with me. I didn't have that type of in-depth knowledge. This is beautiful. It's resonating with the people. They're saying they were. Are you saying that they were wearing hazmat suits? Maybe.
Yes, that's what
Okay.
I'm saying. And then
Okay.
we turn around and we got preachers. Now it's funny though, as since COVID and all those things, you don't see too many preachers in robes anymore. But you know, it was. I I think the only thing that was allegedly holy in the ecclesiastical attire was the surplice. Remember, they would like wear the little white look like little angel wings, like the you'll see the
Yeah.
altar boys, and they'd have the other the one. And see, I've been out of it so long I can't even tell you the names of the things, because I had thousands of dollars in this closet worth of robes. But you know, the long, somebody tell me that thing was an overcoat. They would buy the little for their head. That was because a lot of the priests were bald headed and they were in cold places, so that they wanted to keep the heat in the body, so they wear the little like yarmulke like thing, but it wasn't a yarmulke, but Christian preachers wear it. There were so many things. The robes itself, you know, they were pagans back there, and they were emulating the fish god Dagon. So they wore, I mean, when they wore the mitre that looked like pointed up like that, if you turn on the side, it was a fish head.
Wow.
We were in the Piscean age. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
People don't want to hear this when they're all steeped in what, you know, we've been taught historically. And the fear of God has kept people stuck in places that they really don't want to be in. If truth be told, you know, they don't believe it either.
No, stop it. Are you serious? They don't believe it either. Nuh-uh.
No, they don't. You know, but you know, I'm just one of those ones that broke out. You know what I mean? They might as well become motivational speakers. Because you can motivate people. You can bring people together. I mean, we try to motivate them around nationality, birthright, and you know, things like that. But you can motivate people, and you're not taking them away necessarily. You shouldn't be trying to take them away from a relationship with who they feel is their creator. But you need to be able to see it in context. I mean, what's another Ezekiel and his wheel? You know, now you'll see it on YouTube and different things, and they show like a wheel. I never knew what's the wheel in the middle of wheel, but now it looks like one of those like something scopes, you know, that kind of like goes around and spins. They said it was probably, you know, a vessel, an extraterrestrial vessel. If you look at some of the ancient art, you know, and there's been some pictures I've seen for years, and you see people like walking down like an alley, like they're moving fast, and you see a beam of light shining on them, the glory of God. Now they're showing the whole picture. There's a spaceship over there that's beaming down. You see pictures, and the woman is looking at the photo. We're talking about 1300s and you know, these pictures. They got spaceships in the picture. We thought those lights that were coming down were, you know, like the glory of God. Glory of God is God's glory is more tangible than what we think. I envisioned when Moses, was it Moses or was it Abraham? Whatever one went up on the mountain, and he came back with the white hair. He was he went up, and I think it was Abraham with his son, right? Because he's the same one, whatever. So when he goes up and he's in God's presence, God says, take off your shoes, the place which you stand in is holy, and all of that stuff. And then he says to him, show me your glory. And then he says, come back, and I'm going to hide you in a rock.
Yes.
And I'm going to pass by you, because nobody can see my glory and live. Nobody, in other words, he wanted him to take his people and have his people, this God said, I will be your God. And whatever one, because I'm getting them twisted up because I've been away from it so long. Moses, Abraham, whichever one. And, you know, forgive me, y'all, if I'm not telling you which one, but one of those two. He's going, show me what you're working with. In other words, show me your glory. He said, I don't have it, pretty much, but you come back tomorrow and I'm going to hide you in a rock. And so the glory passes by, because you can't look at the nuclear, what comes off of this nuclear device and live. It wasn't looking at the glory of God wasn't like an emanation from a being. It was some type of device that if
Wow.
you got too close, just like, so what they were able to do eventually was to contain it down into something called the Ark of the Covenant. So
Mm.
he, and you had to be real careful. So Moses, he had to tell Aaron and his boys. I got them right now. It was Moses. You are gonna be the ones. Not only are Aaron going to speak because I'm tongue tied, but you're going to be the one over the oversight of the device that the God is giving us that's going to protect us as we go through the wilderness. It's going to be a long journey. 40 years rather. And it's going to be long, and we're going to get pre-protected. But this thing here, we need people who will tend to it. But it's not easy work. You're going to have to wear. He gave him the dimensions of what he had to make, but he also told him what they had to wear, and it was protective clothing, hazmat, as was said, hazmat, because they were working with a and they put it way in the back so that by and large people would not be affected. But every now and then there was a 3 Mile Island, there was a Hiroshima, there was a Chernobyl type event, and people died in mass. And what they say the people how they were affected is the same thing you see with Chernobyl. That's what happens when I'm bringing it back down to reality. But the way they taught us, and it's not, I don't think that they didn't know. Now, when I say they didn't know, the originators knew.
Okay.
The ones who have come after that have been indoctrinated in the fantasy part of it. This God is doing, the same way they gave the United States technology that right now people are wondering, shaking, if they're getting, emergency broadcast things. Is it about, are they shooting one over here and all that? That's what was happening then. As in the days of, so shall it be now, or when the end comes, as it was in the beginning.
We think our technology is so advanced, but obviously it's not, because they had the same technology back in the biblical times.
And if you read if you go outside the book and start to look at, the Mahabharata and the Vedic texts and all of that stuff, you'll see. And they talk about a little bit there. And there was a war in the heavenlies. And how are we supposed to process that? How, first of all, who was fighting? How they get, if it wasn't God, if you're not specifically saying it was God, how they get up there? But they were already flying. They were on, they gave us the little, what do they call it? The magic carpets. And that's what I was telling you. In order for them to deal with karma, they put these things out, they fictionalize it, and then they can say, well, we told them, we told them exactly it was out there. Now it was up to them to either look further into it or believe it just as it was given.
So what can you explain that, the part about karma? If they didn't tell us they had to suffer some type of karma?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they believe that the karmic, the debt, if you will, for all of this crap that they've done would have to be repaid, pound of flesh, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, unless they tell the people what it is they are doing or they've done. But they were never, I guess, felt that they had to explain it to you so that you would know that that's exactly what was happening. But they could always say, well, we put it out there. It was up there. They believed it. We told them, and they believed that it was fiction. They believed it was a fable. They believed that Jack and the Beanstalk, it was a bull. They didn't know that there was real giants and we got rid of them in a reset.
Ooh, come on, Dr. G. Family, if you are enjoying this discussion here, we are talking to Dr. Nailah Gilliam L. We call her Dr. G. She is
Dr.
from
G.
Dr. G is fine. She is from
Yes.
the official House of Reawakening Minds. You can find her on YouTube, and some people are. You have a lot of people in the chat. They have questions, and they're saying,
I can't see anything because
oh,
I'm on my phone instead of my computer.
oh,
My phone is sitting on my computer, and normally when I'm in, on my computer, I can see comments. So if there's anything that you want to put up and have
okay.
me respond, I certainly will. But I can't see anything.
I would say that there are people here that are saying you are telling the truth. They can vouch for the things that you're saying that happen in your personal life. And some people are experiencing some of those same things. Some people want to give you an offering. A lot of us come from the background of the church. So if this message is like really ministering to you and you desire to give her a gift or a donation, please, you can send it via Zelle. Her email is houseofreawakeningminds@gmail.com. Or by Zelle, you can you have to have a phone number if you don't do the email address. It's 302-983-0136. That's 302-983-0136. Or also you can send it via email, houseofreawakeningminds@gmail.com when you go onto Zelle. You can also send her a gift or donation via PayPal by putting it's paypal.me/Nailah Gilliam. Paypal.me, and I put it on the screen, /NAILAHGILLIAM. So a lot of us from a church background desire to give offerings to people who are ministering to our spirit. So I appreciate the comment and the questions about how to give to her. Dr. G, I want to ask you, because I've been in a similar situation where I was evolving and I could tell it was time to move into something different. If somebody is in that predicament right now, can you share, like, maybe from your experience, how did you get the strength, the courage, the the nerve to get up and move? Because that's hard, to leave what you're comfortable with, to leave
Absolutely.
unity. How do you do that? And do you have to even leave? Like, if the spirit is moving upon you and you no longer feel comfortable, and God tells you to stop lying, like, what do you do?
And let me go back first to the stop lying, because I didn't really give it to you in full. But
Okay.
there's two types of lies. There's lies, and we talk about in church, lies of omission and lies of commission.
Okay.
So when, a commission is, when you just, you're not telling the truth and you just like straight up, I was gonna say that's a barefaced lie. But an omission, in my case, the lying was, that your spirit does not align with a lot of what you are preaching, but you are repeating what you were taught, and you're repeating what you've been indoctrinated with. You're repeating it because that's what they want. They don't know what they need. Tell the truth. So omission means you omitted the fact that, one, you question it. And two, you're just repeating what they taught you, or you're repeating what you've grown up in, a Pentecostal or Baptist or Lutheran, whatever denomination, or, if you Reformation that you've come through, you're just repeating it. But do you feel it in your heart, in your spirit? Do some of the things, the do's and the don'ts, do they all agree with you? Because you are spirit. And the spirit of God is within you. That's what the Bible says. So if the greater one lives on the inside of you, then you should be able to check yourself, against, the things that actually bring, if you will, conflict in your mind and in your heart, that you just can't wrap your arms around it. Am I doing this? And then, we think, people, and going back to your other question, how do you, make those changes when you've, when you've been doing this all your life, you've been with these people all your life. We teach that we're in the world, but not of the world. And the only thing that I could really see that we did with regards to worldliness, if you had to work, then you had to work. So you're dealing with those people, and whether they go to church or not, or if you were evangelizing someone and you were trying to bring them in, you were fishing. And guess what? I don't know what network it is, but there's a network where you see a logo when it's a television network, and when it comes on, there's a little boy in a half moon with a fishing rod.
Oh yeah. Oh God, yeah.
DreamWorks or something.
DreamWorks. It is DreamWorks. It is.
DreamWorks. So they're telling us something there too.
Uh-oh.
Because first of all, in the Bible, Jesus allegedly says, follow me and I'll make you fishers of men, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You'll catch men. So this DreamWorks thing, what my understanding is about that logo is that they work on catching souls.
Oh, we. I just put up an image of him.
Yeah, you feel
with a fishing rod. Mm-hmm.
Right. So the Bible has and preachers, I don't know if the Bible says, but preachers have preached for centuries that it's like a one and done situation. You know, when folks say when you're dead, you're done. One of the I guess the value to being able to teach that is if I am dealing with people, talking to people, if they reference me as an spiritual authority, and I tell them, if you don't get it right, you're going to hell. And, our vision of hell apparently comes from something that's very, I guess, more contemporary than the so-called Bible, because these images came from something called Dante's Inferno or something like that. But if people think that the only way they can make it to heaven is they have to avoid hell, then if tithing is a part of it, if going to the church and buying candles, if going to the priest and trying to buy your loved one's soul out of hell or out of purgatory before hell, it became a business. It not only it became a business and also a way to keep the people under control.
Okay.
Yeah, so those types of things you begin to find out, because people keep coming back with the same issues. They're at the altar usually, week after week with the same issues. Why would God be so cruel to let you, do everything you could, pay penance, do, whatever folks do, try to withhold from doing, smoking, drinking, fornicating, whatever you're doing, only to know that you weren't going to be able to do it. And you never know whether or not you're going to make it in. So you're always doing something to try to make it in.
Especially when you're Pentecostal, it's like, you got all these rules about what you can eat, what you can't eat, what you can wear, what you can't, what day you got to serve, you got to follow all the pastor's orders. You got to go to church all the time. It was just so much. And if you don't do it all, you'll go to hell.
Right.
And then you have a reawakening that maybe hell is a construct.
It's here. Maybe we're already there.
Come on.
Because we, how have thou fallen? I mean, we had to come into a body. I'm not necessarily saying we fell from the sky heavens, because that's questionable these days. Is it a sky? Is it a dome? Is it is it something, a closed system? But we had to come from spirit, if you will, which was the all, being a part of the all, into a small container. And so in doing that, we didn't get all of it, although we left the other part outside of it, because it's either with you or the millions and billions of other folks, or it's with the creator of it all. But we put ourselves in this containment, so to speak, for a purpose, to do a specific job or complete a specific mission, while at the same time we're still connected, unless we allow our souls to be caught and misdirected, which is what they say, these beings that come from maybe interdimensionally or from under the sea or under the ground, but I doubt very seriously that they, come from some planet out in the stratosphere. But we're told all these things, and folks don't accept how to escape it.
It's hard. It's hard if you escape what you've always been told and taught. it's hard to even believe there's something else out there. You have the fear of God put in you. God may kill you. You may go to hell. What if you were wrong? It's so frightening. And then when you leave those paradigms, Dr. G, sometimes you're ostracized. People are told to stay away from you. They can't talk to you. And I'm like, I thought we were supposed to be about love. So, Dr. G, I don't know if you have this experience, but I have people emailing me constantly, especially when I first came on this platform, asking, what do I do? Because now I'm having a reawakening, but I'm scared to leave because they'll ostracize me.
Right.
Or I might go to hell. Like this is real for a lot of people.
Absolutely, it is. You have to meditate.
Okay.
You have to get more in touch with who you are. You know, the spiritual part of it. Like I went to I believe spirit did this. Sent a woman to me by the name of Zing Nafsinger, and she was a Reiki master. And Zing spent about 2 years at House of Reawakening Minds, pouring into me and those that eventually had come. Folks started to come around me that were fringe folk. They weren't in the church, but they were maybe into, the first group that came was more into Pan-Africanism. And then, we had, and the next group were more into spiritual stuff, mediums and stuff like that. So I got more in touch with, I was certified as a Reiki practitioner. I'm a level 2. I did not get my master's. I should, but I'm a level 2 Reiki practitioner. So I started to be able to get in touch with energy. As I told you, I had Reiki circles, and I realized that when I would go around people in the circle, I'm feeling energy in between my hands right now, but I would go around people. I would not only be able to impart some Reiki that maybe they needed that energy somewhere, and maybe a chakra was blocked or whatever, but I would get flashes of prior lives from these people.
Wow.
And it was wild. We did that. This woman came. So spirit will send you along your path, I guess, to answer your question. You hold fast to what you've been told, what you believe, what you know in your spirit. And the ones that you need will come to your, if you will, your aid along the path. I was told that people were looking for me. This in the beginning. Like, nobody's looking for me. Nobody's looking for me. I'm looking for myself. How's somebody looking for me? I met a lady in Marshall's in the aisle, somewhere in the aisle, and she ended up being she was a registrar for Cheney University, I want to say. We talked for the longest time. I don't know how. And she said to me, "Where have you been? I've been looking for you." And it scared me because somebody told me people were looking for me. Right.
Wow.
And that year, she invited me to her family. They had a family gathering, and they invited me to come speak.
That's beautiful.
And then it's just been a roller coaster. You meet the people that were assigned to meet you along the way. You got to start moving, because remember, they're on the path. Like if you stay stuck, you won't. You won't run into these wonderful people or these wonderful circumstances that might seem like, oh my God, that's cool. No, they're planned, but you got to move. Like you said, you got to, because when I used to take people through the Reiki meditation, I'd have them on the path. They close their eyes, and as the music is playing, I've got them going up stairs and going up into the Akashic records and finding the book with their information. You got them on the path. You got them going, down a wooded, if you will, pathway with trees on both sides, and come into a brook that they are to sit by, and then wait for someone to come. And undoubtedly, somebody comes in that meditation to help them the next way.
That's beautiful.
But that's not what we're taught.
It's not. And I know we're talking about like we've had spiritual experiences and church experience. And I know there are some people in this reality, Dr. G, who may not have the same experience in the church, but as they're having a reawakening in this era, knowing that we've been lied to by the government, In schools, we've been lied to. After they have this reawakening,
And churches have lied to us.
True, and churches,
religious organizations. Let's just say that.
Yeah, and so now that they're waking up, they're finding out that there are a lot of people around them that they're just not there yet. So,
but your tribe is out there. I have a T-shirt that says "Your vibe will attract your tribe."
Ooh,
and so your tribe is out there. I mean, we found each other. Dr. T, you got to get her. Dr. Topsana told Mother Kai and I, we had a 6-hour phone conversation. That was like a long conversation, but it was awesome. But she was talking about a dream that she had, or no, a vision that she met, something that happened. And to make a long story short, the being there was all of these women, I think she said women, like getting ready to graduate. And this being that she had encountered a long time ago, she knew this being, was talking to all of them and said, you've always all been together and you will find each other.
Wow.
And you, as you go forward and do what you called or have agreed to do, you will find each other. So when we were talking and probably when she meets you and she will let you know we're finding each other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The sisterhood is finding each other, because the mission has to be completed by the enlightened souls that come together to make it happen. I mean, like I say, that's why they say one could chase 1,000, but two can put 10,000 to flight.
Come on, preach.
And again, we said together is to get her again. It's not to deny him.
Okay.
But her is in so much. You can't even get inheritance without her. You can't be birthed, right? Without her allowing passage. Because what they're trying to get her or us to do is to abort missions.
Ooh.
It's not just aborting a baby, it's aborting a mission. Ooh. It's someone who has decided to come in and do a work. And if they want that work not done, then you're convinced bad timing, bad genes. No, they picked you and him.
Don't abort the mission. Oh my God.
And I thank my mother for that, because I wrote a piece for her and honored her. And at the very end of it, I said, thank you for not aborting the mission. I mean, my mother transitioned in 2002, but when she found out at the age of 17, 17, that she was pregnant, by the time she found out, she was 5 months. And she told me that she did everything she could. She told the doctor, I can't be pregnant. I still have my period. Doctor said, well, we just got to stop that because you're definitely pregnant. And I realized, I said, I was quiet for 5 months. Quiet away because I had to be here now. Because she said, I jumped down the steps. She said, I sat on a bucket of turpentine over a bucket of, I did all the old things back there in the 50s that you do, try to abort a baby. She probably tried to put clothes hanger up there, but I was hiding. I hid for 5 months. By the time she realized I was there, I was too big to force out. But I had to be here. And guess what? She never had another child.
You were the only?
Yes.
Wow. You're really resonating with the soul tribe. They're saying this is well put, Dr. G. We got some fire emojis. Who else? Somebody said, Sister Theola said, my spirit feels so alive right now. I love this. Sister Melissa saying, hallelujah. They're just, wow. Dana says, wow. Inner World said, wow, Dr. G. Sister Melissa said, I'm crying right now. Sister Rosie said, yes. We're glad you're here, Sister Dana said. This is powerful.
Well, and we were talking about this too earlier, Dr. Kia, and that was that you could, and you were going to ask me about this, but it's a good segue into it. But I told you that in my family, at least, I know there's a lot of reincarnation.
You did, yes.
And in my life, like I said, I had to get here because the previous life was difficult. So in my previous incarnation that I remember, I don't think there was anything in between that one and this one. My grandmother transitioned, was born in, listen, y'all, with the numbers. She was born in 1911. I believe it was in May. I don't have the specifics. My mother didn't have a lot of information, but my mother was 7 years old when my grandmother transitioned in 1944 at the age of 33. Born in 11, transitioned in 44, in 1944 at 33. And then 11 years later in 55, she's back.
Mm.
And the first life or the last life, it was a short life, and she suffered because, as I told you, in the 40s, there was another epidemic similar to what we saw happening between 2019, 2021, and even now the repercussions. It was called TB.
You did tell me that, yes.
Tuberculosis. So my grandmother transitioned from tuberculosis at the age of 33 in 1944, and then she rested for 11 years, got her wind back a little bit, and then came on back through her own daughter, who was 7 when she transitioned, as me. Now, I've had glimpses, or I remember 30 years ago, the doctor trying to tell me I had sarcoidosis. And these are like lung things. I have various things that happen with my breathing and stuff, but I reject every diagnosis. And so I've therefore, somebody said, oh, you got sarcoidosis back then, you're never going to get rid of it. I said, I don't have it. So those are things like I tell people quickly. Like somebody told me the other day, we do it a lot. My arthritis. I said, well, that's why it's with you, because you claimed it. It's yours, right? So no, that I don't have that. That's not me. Not this time, because this time sister came back to do something. They told me my grandmother was my mother tried to get pictures. She didn't know what her mother looked like. She said, I just remember what she did for me, for the brief time, because she was sick a lot. But the older women who knew my grandmother said, told my mother I was older, if you want to know what your mother looked like, look at your daughter. It's just your mother was lighter. Her complexion was light. And my like I said, they said my grandmother was a baker. She baked, and I don't bake, but I'll tell you that it came through the bloodstream, because in 1985, I had a daughter, my only daughter, who died at the age of 7 weeks. Perfectly healthy, died of crib death.
Oh my God.
A little less than 3 years later, in 1988, my granddaughter, who some of you all who watch me now see me on Facebook working out with, she's 38 now, was born. My granddaughter is the return of my daughter.
Ooh, wow.
In my family, yeah. And the baker is my granddaughter. That my grandmother was. I came back this time to be sort of a revolutionary.
And I asked you, I said, oh, you believe that? You said, I don't believe
I know.
That's what I said. Come on through here.
I know. Yeah. And she knows that she's been here before. She says, but she said, I don't know who I was. I said, I know. Yeah. So, she's
now like your best friend.
Yeah, we hang out. Yeah, that's my girl. I mean, I have more, I have other grandchildren and great grandchildren, but we've become like besties. And I think she posted something of me today working out. She was filming me doing this thing, and she's like, if this woman can do it. So, but I know who she is. Just like my mother was afraid that I wasn't going to live past 33. Why was she afraid? Because she thought I was going to leave her again.
Oh, wow.
So I outlived my grandmother. My mother lived to be 65 and 1 month, less than a month. And now here I am at 71. And I look back, because every time I think sometimes about my mother, and I say, when mommy was my age, and I thought, oh, wait a minute. Mommy didn't get to be my age.
Oh.
I am blazing another trail, but it's because of knowledge. In the 50s and 60s and all that stuff, we didn't have all of this sense of, holistic living and don't, mind over matter, or, whatever your thoughts, you can redirect your whole outcome by what you think, or, they didn't have that.
Mm.
And it's available to us now. Not everybody is utilizing it. I want to be a motivation. Even whether I'm speaking or not, if I'm just like on the treadmill or I'm lifting weights or something, or like I said, sharing some of the downloads I get, as an intuitive, to tell people of these insights. I mean, Grand Sheik and I have hours and hours of conversations. When I get a download, I want to talk about it. And he knows it. He knows a little bit of everything. So I know I can bounce things off of him without somebody, because some folks that I know think I'm crazy. I still have people that think I'm crazy. But you got to know who you are and what you're capable of. But sometimes those very same people will come back to you because they know you're not crazy. And they know if anybody can get through to whatever XYZ situation is, it's you.
I learned a long time ago that when you live your purpose intentionally, you're giving other people the permission to do the same thing.
Absolutely. That is absolutely right. Because they watch you. They watch us. They watch you, whoever's watching. That's why it's important to live on purpose. Not only on purpose, but in purpose.
Okay.
And you have to do that not without regard to what somebody else will think, especially if you know who you are and what you've been called to do. And some people have hidden gifts and abilities that they're afraid to bring forward because of that very same thing, a rejection. But there is a whole community out here of enlightened women and men that want to be able to, if you will, vibe with like-minded.
Oh, I love that.
Beings.
Tribe vibe. Dr. G, shortly, a few minutes ago, you said I'm 71. And every time you say that, it blows my mind because you look amazing. So I'm watching you, like you've always been to me a master teacher and an amazing enlightened woman. And now I'm watching you, you're working out, you're doing some different things in your diet, you're looking younger. I'm like, what is going on? Like, it's just like you're still evolving.
Well, yeah, because that's an illusion, Dr. Kia, aging.
Okay.
Aging is an illusion. I'm really blessed, if you will, with in my genes. Now, my father, when he transitioned, he was almost 90. Was he 89? And my mother was, like I said, 65. Neither of them had much gray. So probably because some people think, say, oh, you don't dye your hair. No, I don't dye my hair. I dyed my hair a year or more ago when I cut out my locks. I cut my locks out and I had my hair like red, and I got about this much left, like about an inch at the tip. But I don't dye. This is what grows out of my head. And I looked the other day and I saw like a gray hair like running like right up here. And I said, wait a minute, girl, you're 71.
Oh shoot.
We get gray. It'd be in hidden places. but it's not where, but this is just a natural. So, and then I've always been able to transcend generations as far as my relatability.
Okay.
Because I'm a motivational speaker, remember? So
Yes.
I've always been able to talk to young people and older folks and people in between. I just have this gift of gab and relatability. And that, I think that helps me, stay young and youthful, because I'm not just, I go to the senior center and I said to my son, I said, you need to come to the senior center. They have really good lunches there. He said, I'm not ready to go. I said, well, you could have been there 5 years ago, because he just turned 55. My son did. I said, you could have been here 5. He's like, he didn't want to be with the old folks. I said, I go so I can motivate them.
You're a motivation to me, because I see you working out and I'm like, Kia, you got to get back to, and I feel like your granddaughter, she's like outdoing me. I'm like, if she could do it, I have no excuse. I mean, I see you in there grinding, you're on the bike, you're on a treadmill, you're lifting weights. I'm like, oh my, and you're 71. What are you eating? Is there something different that you're eating that we should know
Well,
about?
to be honest with you, I do not have the best diet, but I just
Okay.
started working on a meal plan because it turns out I'm not eating enough. You can
Mm,
hold back and not eat enough, and it'll really inhibit you from losing weight and so forth. So now it's about protein, get enough protein, lean meat. So this morning, it's the afternoon, but first thing in the morning when I got up, I had a half of a bowl of oatmeal
okay.
because that was my pre-workout meal. Then I worked out for an hour. So immediately after that, I went to my friend's store and I got a chocolate chocolate peanut butter and banana and chia seed protein shake. So that's my post. And then when I came home, I had to have a full bowl of oatmeal. And this time it was oatmeal, flaxseed chia, and something that I sell called Vital Pro. I'm with a company called Vital Health, and Vital Health has the most amazing products, nutritional products. It's based on the same stuff. The company's out of Mexico. So that's where, if y'all don't know, they even attribute a lot of things to the Dr. Sebi learned in Mexico. This company is from Mexico, amazing products. So Vital Health, I mean, I have something a little bit for everything. So I had a shake. I didn't have a shake. I put a scoop of it instead of making a shake. I put it in the oatmeal. Now I'm going to have lean. I can have like baked chicken, but you should have about a palm-sized piece, if you will, of chicken or fish, salmon, a bigger plate of vegetables. So I'm changing because I would eat one time around maybe 3, 4, 5 o'clock, and that would be it. That's not how you do it. So you got to put enough, I think between 110 and 100 and I don't know, 40, 50 grams, if you will, of protein in your body. You got to get the protein, you got to get the green vegetables. And because I don't eat a lot, somebody say, well, that's not variety. Well, I can I can mix it up with stuff, but I'm just learning how to eat more, realizing that eating more that's a brain, twister in my brain. You mean I need to eat more to lose weight, not only lose weight, but to retain or gain muscle. Because we're losing weight and then we have all this flabby stuff because we don't have enough protein to build or retain the muscle. So when you lose muscle, you also lose, if you will, power. You're walking, they say we're prone at a certain age, we're prone to falling. Well, if you're weak, so my coach told me today, I was doing this pull down, this thing, and he said something about the granny arms. I said, you trying to get me to have granny arms? I said, I already got them. He said, no. He said, this will get rid of your granny arms. So I was like, okay, we're going to do more. I'm going to go over and do more. But, it's mindset, and it's just looking at various things that work. My house is full of I try it once things. I believe in red light therapies. So using the red light therapies and the things, the scanner. Mother Kai and I both we're AO scan technicians, so we qualified quantum living associates, so we can scan somebody. I can scan myself, but I can scan somebody on the other side of the world on the phone and tell them what's going on in their body right now or what's going on in their mind. So we, using these technologies that like Tesla stuff, the stuff they suppressed, the stuff they didn't want us to have. Folks are waiting for med beds.
Med beds, yes.
Before the med bed comes, there's a lot of other things we could be doing. You know what I mean? And so that's pretty much what I do. It's young in heart, young in mind, makes you young in body.
Come on here. And now I want to talk in a few minutes about your products and all the things that you do. But before we get into that, and I don't want to take too much of your time, I know that you sell, not that you say you're a wealth ambassador. Can you tell us
Mm.
about that? Because I grew up in a time, in my spiritual development where you weren't really you would say God wanted you to be wealthy, but the poor in spirit are the ones that are going to inherit the earth. And if you want to be rich, it's easier to go through the eye of a needle than to be wealthy. So how is it that you are a wealthy?
Yeah, either for camel, yeah.
What I was asking, oh, it's easier for a camel to go
With
through the eye
camel too, yeah.
of,
So,
okay, to go through an
but
eye of
anyway,
than for
the wealth is
for a rich man to inherit the kingdom or something. Go
yeah,
ahead.
right.
Okay.
But a wealth ambassador is actually a title for the company that I'm with. I've been
Okay.
with for since 2020, and I was one of the top ambassadors. And in the very beginning, when I came out and started talking about silver,
Mhm.
I hit the top almost every. I hit the top tier in the first 10 months,
Come on.
and then of course things change. I think they changed the schedule. Oh, I mean the compensation plan, because sometimes folks will come in and say, I got 25,000 people in my downline and I'll bring them over here if and I
Mhm.
think I may be wrong, Chrissy, if that's not what happened, but I think something like that happened.
Mhm.
And so the compensation plan was changed. I'm still with them, and I still, a lot of people. I had at one point, I don't know how many people, like hundreds and thousands of people, if you will, and direct to me, maybe 400 or
Whoa.
500 people who were doing their thing and building. So I'm still with them. I've
Mhm.
never in 6 years spent money out of pocket
For
to get
silver?
silver.
Mm.
The first year and a half or more, I won. Every time they had a contest, I won. Obviously, if I wasn't first place, I was first, second, or third, but most of the time I was first place. So I got a lot of compensation from that. And then at one point, I was getting 21 coins a month. Y'all
Wow.
can't do that. We can't do that now. I was
Mhm.
getting 21 coins a month out of my compensation that I was earning. So I was able to, amass, certain amounts. And I attribute that to Grand Sheik saying he used to pull a silver coin out of his pocket and say, you should always have silver. And he kept talking about Deutsche Bank and the fiat dollar. When I met them, I didn't know anything about fiat. I thought that was money. I
Mhm.
thought I had money, but I learned, and I didn't pay. I thought I wasn't paying attention. And then this opportunity kind of fell in my lap, just like opportunities come, just like the people that you're supposed to meet come,
Yeah.
and this opportunity came, and I remember what Grand Sheik said, and that
Mhm.
I never forget. It was May 17th, 2020. I
Mm.
signed up, and I've never, ever, ever if I put any money out of pocket, no, I didn't. I put money out of pocket buying from like Ampex or something if I saw something else I wanted, but
Mhm.
I've never had to spend a penny after the first initial sign up.
Mm.
Now, of course, back then it was like $23 an ounce.
Mhm.
And we know what's happening, with that now. So of course, it's not as easy, but somebody can get as little as 1 coin a month and be a wealth ambassador. If you know people, you share that opportunity with others, and as they purchase, the company compensates you. And I can say that Quicksilver had highly compensated me over the past
Mm.
6 years.
So I put that in the chat here. Obtain silver or gold from Dr. G. You go to, is this correct? www.getpaidmore.com
Right, and
or
that's OOR, mem OOR, or and the reason why I made that website, because the or part
Mhm.
of it, if somebody were to say type it in and put one number wrong, it might be somebody else's number and it would be nothing I can do about it. But if you go to www.getpaidmore, it takes you right into my
Mhm.
account, because people have, like, we make typos, and it may be not my number, but it's somebody's number. And now
Mhm.
they're signed up under people that, so I always prefer folks to go. And with that opportunity, you don't have to be a wealth ambassador. You could just be a preferred customer. You can just purchase for yourself and purchase 1 coin or purchase other coins. But what I was winning was all kinds of specialty coins at the time. You know what I mean? Things that was you couldn't just get anywhere. And it was
See.
great. Yeah,
Let
it's
me ask
great.
you this: Does God want us to be wealthy? You know, what I mean, like Or are we supposed to be just grateful for just existing? Because I even get, even though I'm not necessarily a part of a church organization, I still get people saying I shouldn't be talking about wealth. You know, the poor in spirit is they're going to be the ones inherited, and then it's too much talk about abundance. Is that does God want us to be wealthy?
I believe that we are supposed to have what it is that makes life as comfortable and enjoyable and as profitable and as, if you will, without taking from
Mm,
the needs of others. I think if we're in a position to give to others, then we should give.
hmm
I think we all, like me. I'm a clothes addict. So I've been giving away lately clothes with tags on it because first of all I can't fit them, but I mean I had a sale last summer, but I'm like, I'll just give them to people. You know what I mean? Because there's a law called reciprocity,
Come on. Okay.
and so you a closed hand, you can't receive anything anyway. So give,
Give.
and it
Yes.
shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, it's gonna come back to you. So whether it comes back to you in the form of a being in some type of a company that compensates you, or whether it's just people, giving gifts unto you, because you're giving, the law of reciprocity is always going to make sure that you're doing well. Greed, I think, is different from wealth, y'all. Folks can be greedy, and greed is not the same as wealth. You have folks that just for the sake of having people being have-nots, they hoard what they have. You have rich folks, like wealthy people can walk into a 5-star restaurant and they say, "Put your money's no good here." Wonder why. But you and I would go in there, and we got to look at the bill 2 or 3 times and try to figure out what card or cards that we. So I think greed and wealth, if you look at it that way, Dr. Kia, there's some people who are just greedy,
Okay.
and then they're in the wealth. I mean, and then there's some folks that are wealthy, and they call it generational wealth. But what they've done is they have a closed system that
Okay.
keeps everything flowing back to them. They don't really use money.
What? Okay. Okay.
They don't use money. They have securities and they have trust and all of these various things that we trying to get, but they, and then they have, paintings and other things that they've, hoarded away. Right. So if you can manage through legitimate means to amass any kind of wealth, then I don't think that God has a problem with that. When you become selfish, when you become, when you use your wealth to hurt or to deny other people, that's, I think, is a problem.
But I grew up singing the song "Silver and Gold, Silver and Gold." I'd rather have Jesus than silver and gold.
Guess why?
Why?
That's what they want you to rather have, so they can have it.
So they can have the gold and silver. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's why.
Mm.
Remember, I started re-looking at things. If they said no, it must be something I should be doing. If they said do it, it must be something I should not be doing or believing or feeling.
Oh, yes.
Because
Wow.
everything is reversed,
Okay.
and it's psychological. Because when we believe it, right in there, belief is based a lot of times on lies or distortions or misconceptions or out of context situations that lead to conclusions that are not right. It's like that story I told you about the Ark of the Covenant. We know that thing was deadly. The guy was helping move it, and it was tipping. He went to touch it, it killed him. They had to carry it on sticks. It was a nuclear something. I can't tell you specifically what it was, but I can tell you, what its function was, but it was nuclear. And it killed folks if they had accidents. And those priests were wearing protective hazmat equipment. and that, the breastplate of righteousness, those stones would detect levels of radiation. Am I blinking? Am I acting like I don't think? Why did I say it's true?
Mm. Mm. Can you talk to us about any products that you're selling that that you would want us to know about that will help us and as we evolve in this new golden era that we've entered? Are
Well,
you
of course.
selling anything or promoting any
Well,
products?
for the last 5 years, I've been with a company called Solex, and
Okay.
you all see me putting stuff up called the AO scan. The AO scan is scalar technology, Tesla technology, stuff that they suppressed a long time ago. And what we're able to do, and the company has about, when I got with them, they only had one thing that we had a phone, we had to use this thing right here. I spent a lot of money for this thing. I don't think I ever used it. This is a tablet. Now you can put it on your phone, but we're able to, with a 10-second voice scan, which I can take over the phone, you can actually find out 4 different emotional points, highs and lows that are going on. And at the same time, not only what your emotions are, but how they might be affecting you physiologically. So they'll tell you, give you what the norms are when you have these notes come up. It generally points to this, and then it'll also tell you a little bit about what's going on in your body. And then if you go further into the technology, it allows you to totally scan somebody's body. It tells you everything about what your your A1C numbers are, what's going on with your chakras, your meridians, because even your chakras and meridians are tied to different parts of your body. What might be.
I'm bringing up the website.
I don't even know what you brought up there, but I can.
The link you sent me about
okay,
Solex.
Yeah. So I've been a qualified living associate with them since 2020. We have all kinds of products that will scan you, and not only will it scan you, it'll turn around if you find it's frequency, because we're all frequency. It will turn around, and if you optimize it, it will send frequencies back to whoever I'm scanning to work on adjusting those imbalances. So it'll do that like within minutes. It'll like a minute or so. It'll send frequencies, and not only that, we're able to scan. Say you have a child, and the child is ADHD or whatever the children get, and you could scan, say, the bracelet that gives a calm and balance, and put that bracelet on the child. It will. The frequencies will resonate with them to keep them balanced. And not just that, anything. If it shows up that your blood sugar is off, if it shows that your liver is acting up, you can send frequencies to balance it. So that's and people can do that. I do it because I love it, but anybody can get their own machine. You don't even need a machine now. You just have to pay, the monthly subscription fee. And you have that, you can put that right on your cell phone, and you can not only scan you can scan your dog, your cat, your horse, your mama, your cousin, people in I've done people in other countries, and then they get an immediate report. And so they're not just hearing it, but they're actually looking at a report going, and then you can see the before and after. This is what you look like when I scanned you. I sent you optimizations. 5 minutes later, these are balanced. It'll show you what you're allergic to as far as fruits and vegetables and all that. It does a lot. So I love that company. And then they have other technologies that allow you to, like I said, you see different things, but I use the AO scan. I've been using it for 5 years. I'm also with a company called Vital Health Global. Vital Health is what, like I said, it has some of the most amazing products. But one of the things we have is called askvital.com. And what that lets you do is put in, say I'm 71, I'm overweight, I have high blood pressure. I don't have high blood pressure, but I have high blood pressure, and I have pain in my knees, or I've had this done. I've had cataract surgery. You put that into the AI, and in a matter of maybe less than a minute, it will give you all the products and things that we have that you can take that will address that. address it. We don't diagnose, treat, or cure anything, but we address those frequency. We have the products for that one to address that. We also have a machine with that lets you scan the body, and you'll get a 120 page report of 45 vital points in your body, what's going on, organs, tissues.
I'm sorry. I did put that link in the chat, and I'm gonna bring up the website. Family, everything she's talking about, the products that she has. Let me move this. Okay, and the machines. I'm putting it in the description section as well. It's in the description
so you'll
section
want
of
my
this
link.
video already.
Yeah. I take those products. Yeah. We have coffee now. Like, you know how a lot of people are dealing with memory loss and so forth. We have three coffees and one latte that I like. But one coffee is called Neuro Cafe. Neuro Cafe is a mushroom. They're all mushroom coffees, but Neuro Cafe helps to fire up the neurons in the brain. So that's going to help you if you get dealing with brain fog. We have one that's called what's the other one called? Neuro for the brain. And then we have one called Love Cafe is for the hormones. It's both men and women. And the brain for, and then we have Thermo, which is a fat burner. Delicious coffee. You just take a scoop. It's a scoop already in it. Yeah, the cafes and so forth. And then we have a latte, a coconut mushroom latte. You just pour it out of it has a little pack that you can take with you. We have vitamins that I take. It has about 85 different vitamins and minerals in it. And it's just in one little thing. I pour it in a bottle of water and I drink my vitamins. We have stuff that will address your kidneys, your liver, and all that stuff. And they're all natural herbs.
This is
all natural.
Oh, I'm putting in your personal links in the description section and all of the social media platforms from which we're speaking right now. If somebody, okay, is there another product before I ask you how they can get in contact with you?
No, not right now.
Okay.
I'm thinking like, no, James. No, and the reason why I'm saying no, James, is because I have a friend named James out in Cali, and almost all the things that I got into, James got me into, and he's got something he's trying to get me into, and I keep avoiding him, and I'm saying, no, James, I'm busy.
Dr. G, how should people reach you? Can they reach you for a consultation, or do they just go to your website?
They can call me. Everybody have my numbers out there. You know, the 302-345-0500 is the best way to get me. 302-345-0500.
0500.
Yeah, and my phone shuts down at like 10:30 p.m. EDT and doesn't wake back up until 8:30 a.m. I have to have a period of because the phone would ring all night.
Yeah. Okay, so finally, Dr. G, we have talked about spiritual evolution, physical and emotional, mental well-being, taking care of your body, taking care of yourself spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. And we've talked about wealth. Can you leave us with something to maybe summarize, or just leave us with a word of encouragement as you take into account all those things we've discussed?
Well, one thing we didn't talk about, and I wasn't able to print it all out, but I want those who are watching to go, if you're interested in declaring, if you've already declared your nationality, or if you've not corrected your status or declared your nationality. I met an amazing woman, and she was one of the panel. And I hope Dr. Kia, you'll have her on. Her name is Dr. Tapsana B. Thomas. And any of you who are familiar with the Dallas Cowboys, she's the widow of the late Dwayne B. Thomas, who was in the Jim Brown era, right? They worked along with Jim Brown with the American program and so forth. And he was a football great and she has actually introduced me to Global 528. It's global528.com. And that is something. Now, some folks have some concern because Anna von Reitz is a part of this, and she's not a Moor. I'm going to tell you about this anyways. Check it out for yourself. So what's available to us is if you haven't corrected your status, you can correct your status with them. If you've already corrected your status, you can send a copy of, you can upload a copy of your status correction. And then they have like this form, which you can't see, which is a witness testimony affirming political status and identity. It's something where you put your pictures, like a passport picture, and it says, has your name, physical address, and it says witness I so-and-so know the lawful person shown in the photo above by the name shown, and I know of their family history sufficient to know that they were born at the time and place shown on the face of the reference birth certificate. You send you copy your birth certificate, or shown on the something paperwork, and it tells what their relationship is to whatever, and they sign it. Two people sign this. And there's also another form which I wasn't able to print out because I thought I had it, but that form is your declaration that you are an American and not a British subject. Once you upload that, those two things along with your copy of your birth certificate, like I said, it could be you may have already corrected your status that you're Moorish American or Irish American. It doesn't really matter. You got to be an American. When you send this Global 528, first of all, 528 is based on the 528 hertz, which is the love frequency, right?
Yes.
Right. So Global 528 is a bank. There is actually a bank. They're able to take, I think Dr. Kia, you talked about the various state banks or whatever. So they're able to do the with your foreign currency transfers, but they're giving you 5,280 American Federation dollars every month once you sign up, and you'll get that every month. But there's also something on there called prepaid credit. So the prepaid credit takes into account all of the fact that you were trafficked but using your birth certificate, and they were putting you on the stock exchange, and companies out attributed to you and all that. Prepaid credit allows you to purchase or obtain homes, your cars, and all that stuff just by clicking the button. You have to get a vendor numbers, different things, but you're not paying for this. So nobody's asking for you can also get your ID with them. And like I said, Dr. Topsana has been getting her 5,280 American Federation dollars ever since July. Now, what you're like, well, that's not fiat. Well, it's the new currency. And once this other system goes down, and it is actually, but once we know for sure that it's down, you're going to have a way of exchanging your currency for whatever acceptable currency. This will be one of the acceptable currencies. Anna Von Reitz is the fiduciary of the Saint Germain Trust, and all we have to be is American. Now, if you're in another country and you're listening, you can do it too, but you're not saying that you're American. You're whatever country you were born at whatever. So I would highly recommend you go to global528.com and check into that. I'm not telling you what to do. It's just something else, because most of us have tried various and sundry things. If you don't think I've gotten opportunities, if you will, do this, do that. People are always giving me some. This is probably one of the few things that's not asking for really anything, in order to do that. Not the only, but if you've already corrected your status, you can get this. If your status is corrected, you just send a copy of the paperwork with this and the 2 witness testimonies, which, with your picture on it, and they have tested that, that's Nailah, and that's, I've known her, and that's not a fake person, because they're going to open an account in your name so that you can start getting your wealth. And it's based on love. 528.
That's so beautiful.
It's the hertz. So I wanted to make sure I didn't, end without, because you have such a vast audience, so that they can look into it. And maybe you can have Anna Von Reitz also on your show, because
that would be awesome. Yes, ma'am.
She can arrange for that. I'm sure she can arrange that, because she wants to get the information out. And we got to get away from this. If she's going to help you, I'm sorry, I can't. You know, like I said to somebody when we were on together, you know, somebody was like, she's not a Moore, and
come on, because we're all one soul family. We all came from source,
yeah,
so we're all interconnected. Doesn't we have to get away from skin complexion and
right.
help?
You can still be a Moore. You're a Moore, but get your mind, get your resources. Okay, get your, like I said, get paid more.
Dr. G, I'm going to call you because I would like to get Dr. Thomas on,
Okay.
on the show. Maybe you know, if you want to, we can come on together, the three of us, and you can help me co-facilitate, because I think that would be beautiful for the soul family. I see people saying they're excited. Sister Tammy says, "Wow, I'm so excited! This is beautiful."
And Dr. Thomas is also a specialist in the lymphatic system. She has, I think, 3 books out on the lymphatic system. She survived lymphatic cancer from the age of 22. Like I said, she's a lady up in her, she's up in her 70s now, looks very well, you know, for her upper 70s. And she knows about the lymphatic system. And the interesting thing is, I was talking to her and another friend, Sister Letitia Lovely, who's an author, and Letitia was looking up her book while we were on the phone talking, and she said, "Oh, your book is on Amazon. Somebody's selling it for $700 and some odd dollars." Wow. Somebody was selling Dr. T's book. Well, she sent me the PDF of the book, but I'm saying, she said, somebody's selling my book for $700. You know what I mean? And she's come under a fire, like her life has been threatened over the information that she's putting out in this book about your lymphatic system. You know, so yeah, you need to get her on the show. Yeah,
I will.
And I'm so happy to have been here. I wasn't sure, you know, like I said, this is one of the first few times I've been on a show and I can't see myself. I'm looking at like a little blur there, but you know, at least we were able to get through this, you know, because there was all kinds of electronic obstacles. I cannot believe it, but I do believe it. I do believe it, because that stuff is real. This stuff we're dealing with, y'all, it's real. They hear what we're saying. They know what we're, you know, they know. If you look at all these new movies, like the ones where they're showing how the surveillance, and they can pinpoint 2 million people that they want to kill and fire something at the same time. These are movies. Do you think these, again, are just movies, or are they admitting the things that are out there that they are using or would like to use on the people at some point?
They're telling us the truth. Like you said, they have to tell us.
They have to. They absolutely have to, you know, but you don't have to, you know, be overcome by fear. You know, as they say, folks say fear is false evidence appearing real. It's not real. You know, it's not real at all. So if you put your mind somewhere else, you can bypass the reality that they're creating. You can either bypass it, or, you know, like I said, fear, I said this in a post I did the other day. I said, fear is looking for employment. Don't hire it.
Come on. You said a word. You have really ministered to our spirits today, Dr. G. And now I almost called you mother. Because, you know, in church world, the women would give us wisdom. You'd be like, "Oh, that's elect lady or mother." Elect lady, where can we find your work?
Which work? Like my book?
Oh, you got a book too? You didn't tell us about?
Yeah, I have a book.
Okay.
That I did this book in and I have a few, probably about 20 copies of this book left, but it's old. But I did a poem. There's a lot of ladies on here.
Yes,
I'll read a poem for you if you want me to.
Please
One I used to recite all the time, and it's called Hair Cares.
Okay.
Even though I'm guilty of some of the stuff on here. It says, remember the time when the only thing on our mind was how long or straight our hair was. So much so we do anything to get more, even buying fake hair from the corner Asian store. We couldn't see our true beauty. No one really did. So we valued each other by the hair on our head, but not just our hair, but our skin and features too, because a standard was set that we tried to live up to. Male and female. We bought the lie, you know, lie I'm talking about. put it in our heads, not realizing years later, many would be dead from the very thing we thought would make us so much more. We became victims of a chemically waged biological war. We didn't know our own worth. So some thought they could score. Manufacturers, they began reeling us more and more and more with, your hair needs more shine and your hair needs more swing. And we got just a product that can do the darn thing. But now we realize that we're of royal stock and true beauty suits us to a T. And the lips, tits, butts, and tans that some have to bite, those are things that we give for free. And we're through with relaxers and products that burn. We're proudly wearing our hair natural because finally it's our turn to rock our locks, twist outs, and frozen. Yes, even our little wash and goes. Does anyone else see the transition? Can you feel it in the air? That after all these years of chemical bondage, there's now a revolution in hair care. Ashe.
Ashe, ashe, ashe.
That's in the book.
Beautiful.
Yeah. That's it's about 100-page book or something like that. Got a little bit, but I'm working on like I said, I'm working on a couple of things, and it's called Always Glitching, How to Be a Glitch in the Matrix. And out of that, while I was working on that, I started writing these letters, creating these letters for different subjects, and I was going to put it in the midst of the book. And something said, "Nah," Spirit said, make a separate book called Love Letters from a Glitch, and that way you can write about anything you want to in a letter, and it doesn't have to go with the letter before or after. They just, what we're categorizing them, anything that fits in the same category. But I've just been writing, random letters. But I have one here that I could probably here's one. This is going to be in the book. I have to share this. A love letter from a glitch to the one who forgot they were never separate. There's a quiet question that has followed you through moments of stillness, through grief, through wonder. What happens when this is over? Where do I go? Do I disappear or do I return? And while the world has offered you answers wrapped in fear, doctrine, and finality, I have come to remind you of something softer, something older, something you once knew before you learned to forget. You were never separate. Not from life, not from each other, not from the source that breathes through all things, but here in this realm, you were given a body, a name, a story, and with it, the experience of being someone. Only this body, only this identity, only this lifetime, but every now and then in the hush between thoughts, in the tear that falls without explanation, in the moment you look at the sky and feel something looking back, there it is. A crack in the illusion, a soft remembering. Wow. That whispers, this isn't all that you are. They call it many things, awakening, presence, connection, but I will call it what it is, a glimpse of allness. And you don't have to wait for death to feel it. No, death is not the beginning of your return. It may simply be the moment you stop resisting it. Because even now, while your feet are planted in this life, in this world of form and function, you are still connected to everything you think you've been separated from. You feel it in love, when the boundaries between you and another dissolve. You feel it in loss, when something leaves your sight but not your awareness. You feel it in silence, when the noise of the world fades and something deeper rises to meet you. These are not accidents. These are reminders that you are not a fragment trying to find the whole. You are the whole, having a momentary experience of being a fragment. And yes, one day, what you call death will come, but not as an end to you, rather as a soft exhale, a release of the sight and the tight grip you've had on identity. Or as you return fully to what you've always been connected to. No fear, No separation, no forgetting, just knowing, as we're talking about knowing. But hear me clearly, beloved. You don't have to rush toward that moment to remember. You can remember now. Right here in the middle of your living, you can walk this world as both the individual and the infinite, the name and the nameless, and the one and the all. And when you do, fear begins to loosen. Division, as we talked about, begins to dissolve, and life begins to feel less like something you're surviving and more like something you're participating in consciously. So when that question returns, what happens when this is over? Smile gently and answer yourself. Nothing is over. I simply remember more.
Ooh.
Until then.
Ooh, that was so powerful. Yes, I agree. Goosebumps. Good. Like I have tears in my eyes. It ministered to the inner person. It's just beautiful. Yeah, you got lots of hearts, hand claps. Oh my God. The Soul family saying this is really touching them. This is so this, Brother James says, Dr. Nailah, you are such an inspiration. Soul family.
Thank you.
She says, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Speaking of,
I've enjoyed my time here with you.
it has been a joy and an honor. Family, I know you all are grateful that we've had this special guest on. You asked me to please bring her back. We will. And we'll bring her back with some more encouraging words. If you would like to send her a donation or a gift for all that she's poured into us, you may send her a Zelle, Zelle. If you have that app on your phone, then you can send her a Zelle by emailing her. Sometimes you have to have the email or the phone number. The email that you want to enter in is House of Reawakening Minds, plural with an S, @gmail.com, or enter her number 302-983-0136. You can also send her a PayPal donation if you don't have Zelle. And her name there is Nailah Gilliam. Or if you want a direct link, all of this is in the description section of the video and in the chat. You can send it to PayPal. It's paypal.me/Nailah Gilliam. Her name is spelled NAILAHGILLIAM. So these are two different ways, soul family, that you can contribute to her work, give her a donation, and all the links of the products and the different devices and technologies of which she's a part of there in the description section of the Dr. Kia Pruitt show on this video, as well as her personal link if you desire to buy silver or gold from her. You may also be able to be a part of her upline or learn and study under her. I'm not sure if she's still doing that part of the service. Are you Dr. G? Would somebody consider?
Anybody who signs up with my link would be, if they are a wealth ambassador, want to be a wealth ambassador, it would be in my downline. And if they want to just be a preferred customer, they'd still be in my customer line.
Okay. And on YouTube, I'm sorry. On YouTube, she is at the official House of Reawakening Minds. I just pulled up the link there, and I'm going to put it in the chat for you all as well. In 1 second here. And what about, do you give out your Facebook or just the YouTube?
It's just Nailah Gilliam. Okay. We Nailah Gilliam on Facebook, but we also have House of Reawakening Minds on Facebook.
Okay. All right.
And of course our website, our new website will be flipping over probably in within the next week, because it's my fault. But we will still be the same House of Reawakening Minds. It's up right now at houseofreawakeningminds.org. I'm sorry, but it's going to be a revised website with the same link within about a week or so.
Okay.
Go
ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's it.
Now, what about upcoming conferences or anything?
Okay, what we have coming up this week on Friday in a couple of days is actually the return of our Fourth Friday Civics. We have an in-person Fourth Friday Civics class at House of Reawakening Minds here in Wilmington, 602 Vandever Avenue, Wilmington, Delaware. It is from 6:30. Well, the doors open at 6:30. We start at 7 p.m. and we go until, we rarely get out there before midnight, because we have Teach and Lady J teaching on how to live in private and quit your job university that they run in DC. We have, of course, Grand Chic, Taj Tariq Bey, live and in person, and yours truly. I get up and say a few things sometimes, but I'm there. So that's going to be this coming Friday. I've been really kind of promoting it heavily, trying to get it really out in this community. Because I said in one of my posts, I said, the people come and we've had one sister flew all the way in from the UK for a Friday night class. So people come from California, Florida, and all parts in between. And I said, if people can come from around the world, why can't you come from around the corner to get this knowledge? You know, so I've really been hammering it on my story. You know, instead of you seeing the picture of me, now you see the poster of what's going on this Friday, because this knowledge is power.
Yes. Now, which Fridays do you do that?
Fourth Friday.
Fourth Friday. Okay.
So the first one of 2026 is this Friday coming.
Okay. Family, I put her links in the description section. I put her links to donations in the description section and in the chat, and it's also at the bottom of my screen of how you can support her and support her work. How can they order your book, Dr. G?
I actually have a link. I have a link for it. But they, you know what, they can also call me if they text me and just say to the 302-345 book, I can send a link.
Okay.
I can text and they buy it directly on. They order it actually on PayPal.
Okay. Okay.
And I think I have maybe 20 copies left of this book. I wrote this in 2013, so.
Oh wow!
But it's still relevant. It still gets its little drive, if you will. People still, and it's funny. I have a picture of me. This book was written in 2013, and you probably can't see that, but there I am again. This is 2013.
Wow!
Look, I have come full circle, right?
You really have, yes. Because you had the locks since then.
Oh, since then, yeah.
Yes. Now you're back to. That's amazing. That's amazing. Full circle. All right. We have thoroughly enjoyed you, Dr. G. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Like I said, I'm sorry I couldn't see your comments. I'm going to go back and read them.
Okay.
I'll pull it up and look at it, but I couldn't see it here. But I appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate your attentiveness. I appreciate your absorbing of the things I've said. I don't necessarily know that you agree with everything, but just the fact that you are here, your presence is felt, and so very. I'm an energy person, so I feel the love. I feel the 528
frequencies. Yes.
Frequency. Yes.
What about the glitching with Dr. G? Is that a YouTube channel?
Yes. Dr. G : always glitching. I'm going to be starting to do more on that channel because I want to start introducing what glitch is. I think you said something, but glitch is something that Spirit gave me back in about 2010, 11, something like that. It's been a while. But glitch stands for grow, learn, inspire, teach, create, heal. And that's why the song, you probably heard my new song playing on it, always glitching. So you're always growing, learning, inspiring, teaching, creating, and healing. And that's what we all should be doing. And you maybe not all at the same time, but at some point in your life, we're doing those things. So yeah. So always glitching is not just a podcast, but it's a movement. So I want to get that information out on that channel so that we can put ourselves in a state of glitch. It's a good thing.
I just pulled it up so the Soul family can see it. You are so busy. I don't know how you do all these things. That's amazing. Gosh.
Oh, look, I not only do I do the workout with the trainer, but on Thursdays I go to the senior center and I do cardio drumming, and I love that.
Wow.
I think I'm gonna do a drum. Yeah. So yeah. So I'm staying busy, y'all. Just like you say, a rolling stone gathers no moss. You gotta, you gotta be in motion, because they want us to sit on the couch and go, woe is me, and woe will be you.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. G. I'm just going through the comments. The Soul Tribe really appreciates you. They're excited. They love the always glitching. I
love the song too. Yeah. Yeah.
I wish I would have thought about bringing up that song. Do you have
Um,
it nearby? We can go out with it if you want me to.
um, I,
Is it
I,
on your
I,
channel?
let me see if I have it on this other phone because I might be able to play it. I think I have it in.
Oh, she's Dr. G's a superstar. She got her own theme song, family.
Let me. I forgot what. Oh, searching, always glitching. Oh, here we go. Always glitching. See if it'll come up. It may not be on here. Let me see
Okay.
because I think it's on the other phone. Oh, that's not my. That's not. That's not my music.
It was on
Sorry
one of
about
your.
that. It's on
One
my. It's on the show. Somebody else's stuff came up and I'm trying to see what it is I actually literally have it on this phone, and I don't think I could. I have it on the phone that I'm talking to you on, and
Oh,
it's not on. Wait a minute. Oh no. Wait, one more place I can look.
okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. I
No,
should have
no,
thought about it. I would
I,
have been able to play it on the on the if I was on the computer. Let me see Telegram. I'm gonna see if I can.
you see if this
Okay,
is. Oh, I found it.
you found it.
I found it on the show we did the other day.
Okay,
But I'll wait and because I would. Is this it? I gotta fast forward
it's a
to it.
picture of me kind of
Yes, I
that's it.
see it. They ain't gonna believe. Dr. G is looking so good. Do you want me to bring it up?
You can if you want, because I don't think I can find it.
To support Dr. G, remember you can send a PayPal. Her name is Nailah Gilliam. Gilliam.
Gilliam. It's Gilliam.
Gilliam. Thank you for the
Gilliam.
question.
It's like William Gilliam.
Gilliam. Oh, okay, Gilliam.
Yeah.
Nailahgilliam. You should go to paypal.me/Nailah Gilliam, or you can send her a Zelle gift donation. Put in her email, House of Reawakening Minds with an S at the end @gmail.com, or you can put in her phone number. This is also the number by which you can reach her 302-983-0136.
Mm.
This
Yeah,
is what
you can play what you have.
okay. And I'll have to know where to end. I'll pay
It's
attention.
yeah, that's that. Yeah, okay.
You see it?
I wrote the song. It's not me singing those.
Hey, can you see it right here? Can you see yourself?
I
don't
do.
know. Okay. They see gorgeous. Look at Dr. G. Like, I gotta get in the gym. She's 71 looking this beautiful, family. My goodness. Okay, we're gonna go out with her theme song, family. So give her some love, put some hearts, please, in the comment section. Everybody send her a donation, a gift, whatever the Most High or Spirit puts on your heart to share with her. Please do that. Send the hearts, family. I see the hearts coming in. Thank you so much. And we're going to go out with the song. Thank you again, Dr. G. I love you so
Thank you,
much.
Dr. Key. I love you more.
You're welcome. You're going to be back on with Dr. Thomas, hopefully very soon. So
Okay. All right. Look
let's
forward
go
to it.
out with this family. Hold on 1 minute. Let me go back.
That's me.
Oh, that goes like a little bit back.
Better? Okay.
Yeah. Ooh.
See if I can turn it up. Can y'all hear it?
I hear it.
Always glitching. That's me. Doing what I can to be the best I can be. Always striving to reach the top. In spite of their restrictions, I'm someone they can't stop. I'm growing, learning, inspiring, teaching, creating, and healing.
Woo.
It's action more than a feeling. That's why I'm always glitching. Oh yes, I've got what it takes to be the best of the best. Not competing with anybody but me. Just here to make a difference and set your captive mind free. The matrix is not just a womb. They've gone and made it a tomb. Their system buries your dreams beneath lies and manipulative schemes. Reality is not what it seems. That's why I'm always here. Always glitching. That's me. Doing what I can to be the best I can be. Always striving to be the cream of the crop. I'm thriving in their matrix, 'cause I'm the one they can't stop. It's my time, it's my time. It's my time, it's my time, it's my time. It's my time, it's my time, it's my time. It's my time.
That was awesome. That was so lovely. Oh my God. Thank you, Dr. G. That was beautiful. It's
Thank
our
you.
time. You're
It's the
welcome.
time. Yeah. Yep. Thank you.
Woo. You're welcome. We can go out with that soul family. Oh, they love it. It was beautiful. That, oh man, that's going to be in my spirit all day. Thank you, Dr. G. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
So you've heard from Dr. Nailah Gilliam, also known as affectionately as Dr. G, right? And me, Dr. Kia Pruitt. I trust. I don't even have to hope or believe. I know we said something to raise your vibrations and inspire you to create the most amazing, magnificent day or life that you desire and deserve. Go out and make this a great day and live your life on purpose. We love you. Thank you for being here with us, Soul Family. Thank you so much. Peace. We'll talk to you soon, Dr. G. Bye, Soul Family.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and end this.